seems more and more important that parents have a certain set of tools on board in order to do the good job that they want to do raising their kiddos in a world that looks a little cockeyed. So the focus of this workshop is the mystical parent. What is the mystic parent? And I hope to, give some tools that will be helpful in moving on. And Sunning the Bliss will allow me to stay in touch with you and let you know when I'm giving this workshop. This initially was meant to be like an over an hour workshop. We're going to distill it down to 15 minutes today. So if we can go around the room really briefly, and if you can just give me a little bit of who you are, and if you have a specific question that you'd like me to address, and I can kind of try to incorporate that into our remaining time together, because I really want to meet your needs. So,
my name is Ashley. This is Asani. I'm a teacher. I'm a first-time mother. I'm just here to learn.
thank you. And your mommy?
I'm Catherine. This is Corin.
Hello, Corin.
And we definitely live a mystical life.
This is good.
So we're here just to build community, really. So thank you for having us.
Thank you. Very important. Thank you, my sister.
I'm Ray Hamer, and I'm here to support the workshop and all the attendees. I'm a mother of 3 grown sons, and I have 3 grandchildren. And I'm just here to share.
We're here to share. So please move.
Okay,
Go ahead.
so I'm going to start us off with magical songs. So what I shared before is that with my first son, I created a song. I created a song for my son.
Bless you.
And the first song I'm going to put this time, because I was long last time. I did a song, and it's called Fine Brown Boy, and I just made it up with my song, with my son. Fine brown boy, 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 just to give you the idea so you can create your own music with your child. And then another song I did was, at that time it was a peak when we were learning things about Africa. Dr. Ben was big, and they were having the first ancient African Egyptian study conference. It was that time, it was kind of booming. And so I did this song. I had a map of Africa, and I did this song about Africa for it. It was, and I'm just going around the map of Africa. Azania, Botswana, Lesotho, and Swaziland, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Madagascar. The whole world is Africa. Africans populated the world, and on like that. Okay, and I would sing, Africans have dark skin, Africans have light skin, Africans have straight hair, and Africans have curly hair. Africans have brown eyes, and Africans have slanted eyes. Africans populated the world, whole world is Africa. Like that. Okay. And the third one that I want to do with us is a song that I learned is from Congo. And it's basically, the way I know it is a lullaby. I haven't really had anyone to translate it word for word, but as I've learned, some of the languages are languages that are dialect that was used older, and people know the songs and they know what ceremonies and whatnot it goes to, but they don't often know the words to translate. And some words are not even translated. This song, I need you to respond, and so as you grow older with the baby, as the baby grows older, they'll be able to sing it with you like my grandbaby sing it with me. It goes, you're gonna respond, I'm gonna say the phrase, and then the very end of the phrase is what you repeat, and what the baby repeats, and babies will start to pick it up. It goes, kumbele, kumbele, belele, belele, belanjimi, belanjimi, jimmy, jimmy. go belele, belele, and you do that. Belele, belele, Belanjimi, Belanjimi, Jimmy me, Jimmy me. Oh Jimmy Saya, Sayaya, Saya Buntu, Buntu. Oh Butugunda, Kundanda, Gundaleli, Lelela, Wele Manganga. Kumbele, belele, Belanjimi, Jimmy me. Oh Jimmy Saya, Saya Buntu, Buntu. Oh Butugunda, Gundaleli, Lelela, Welele Manganga.
Yay, thank you. So, that's so lovely. I could just sit there and
Children
sing all
love
day.
singing, but you can make up your own songs. You can sing songs that you know your child needs to hear, say words they want to hear, make sounds they want to hear, just be magical. Right?
It's definitely magical, and neurologists tell us that a healthy brain is one that gets a lot of really good grounded stimulation. And song has always been that way. Before there were neurologists to tell us that. Human parents have always sung to their offspring. So that's a wonderful thing that we want to incorporate back into our kind of corporate-driven existences. Right? You're a handsome guy. Are we both little boys? How fun! We get to see all the energy and the movement of the little body, plus we're toddlers too, that helps. So in our first little session, whoa! Whoa! It's okay. You okay? You're very handsome. Yes, you are. My first presentation, I'm going to give both of you the full kind of layout of the presentation. Wrinkled though yours is now, you can still read it. Eventually I'm going to present this again in its full form, but I wanted to give some brief tips for the parent who's trying to do their best in this wacky world to be grounded and happy in themselves, and to be an example of that for their young people. And in my first talk early today, I kind of focused more on what a mystic parent is. And I'll just say briefly, the mystic parent is one who's able to forgive the past, to be present, to accept and choose the unknown, and to live in co-creation with God. And God, of course, is whatever our relationship is with creative force. We all have different names for this. We all have different experiences of it. Whatever that is, we need to harness that energy into our lives, because it's there for us and it's for our success as human beings on the planet. In order to do this, we've got to take a look at any ways that we might have been wounded. The quote from Jung that I used to end my previous section was, the most damaging thing to any child is the unlived life of its parent. So knowing that, not to shame ourselves or blame ourselves or even shame previous generations or previous times in which we've lived or previous experience, just accepting it as something that is. How do we overcome it, and how do we pass on what's worthy and valuable to our young ones as opposed to our trauma, right? So on this sheet, if you turn over what's on the sheet? On this sheet are some tools that I have found to be very helpful for parents to find and be part of a healthy spiritual home. That could be a religious community or church, but we're looking for an environment where things are healthy, open, loving, affirming. If there's a spiritual home that's teaching negativity, we're not talking about that, because that has nothing for us but more negativity we're trying to heal from. looking at things like men's groups and women's groups. We're looking at counseling or therapy, or both, parents groups, supportive families and friends. What we're struggling with, if that gets ripped, I got another one for you, so don't worry about it. You gotta be flexible with toddler people. What we're looking at is trying to acquire whatever tools that we need in order to look out into this world and only see what is true, which is love. And anything that is the opposite of that, we want to have something that helps support our inner daily practice of seeing only what is true. And especially where that is involving and touching our children. Our role as parents is to actually come between whatever false negative images and messages that are coming, to the best of our ability, to be between those messages and our young ones as much as possible. And it's very, very challenging. Because even in like decisions on where to have your child, or what clothes to put on your child's back, there are messages that are not positive in almost every little thing. Breastfeeding, bottle feeding, it can feel very overwhelming. So having a support group is really key. The best way for us to do that is for us to be as healed people as possible. Using the tools that I've kind of listed there and would go into more deeply will definitely give us what we need. Parents get to look at themselves in a construct that I call the parental trinity. Parent as protector, parent as provider, parent as mentor. The protector shields, the provider gives, and the mentor shows. Little baby primates, which our children are, because we're big primates, they learn by example, they learn by modeling. We can talk to them all we want. It's what we actually do that is going to have the biggest impact on them. It's what the people around them are actually doing that's going to have the biggest impact on them. So the mystic parent is responsible for providing protecting the gentle soul of their child from the world's illusions. Examples of these illusions are fear, sexism, separation from God, separation from others, chronic individualism, racism, capitalism. A relationship with creative life force is the key to healing all of these things. And as much as your little one can look to you as their first guide, you would be the blueprint for all the other guides your child chooses. Right? I have been very blessed to have teenage boys who are now, they're men now, but during those teenage years, there's a societal message that they're supposed to be so separate from you. They're supposed to even spurn you. And I think that that's one of the biggest lies that this society tells us. What I've noticed with my sons when they were young and their friends was they really wanted adults to provide guidance for them. And they really appreciated it, maybe not in the moment. Because I have sons who are in their 30s who thanked me for when they were grounded and I kind of lost my top. And then I apologized for losing my top. So they're watching and they're wanting to be guided, and they want to see what feels like love coming from us, which is that we give a darn about what happens to them. We care that it's hard to be in high school. We care that it's hard to have a body that was under your control 1 minute, and then adolescence is having to do other things. And very similarly with our little toddlers, this is the first big jump in development for a little human being, is having to be in charge of your arms and legs and having emotions that you don't have names for, and one of the most important keys as we walk with our children through their developmental steps is to not see these things as a problem. These are just things this is just as a flower unfolds its petals, this is your child unfolding itself to itself and to you. And so as much as you can, to the best of your ability, no one is perfect, but to the best of your ability, if you can affirm for your child every day that you love him or her, that you know it's hard being a great big spirit in a little bitty body, that you're there for them, although you might be angry or you might be upset because the china vase got smashed, that your child is actually much more important than the china vase, because that is ultimately true. The more you can reinforce those things while teaching boundaries and while understanding that things shouldn't be broken in your home, having that balance with the love between yourself and your child is the key. That love between yourself and your child is the first step in every move you make with regard to your child or children or family or community or world. To the best of your ability, you can do that. I feel very, very confident that one day you'll get to the point where I find myself in, where I have these grown people who I love so much. One day I went from having these little boys to all these beautiful men. And the love and connection that I have with them is so exquisite and so perfect. It is the most excellent love of my life. And I have a lot of people that I love and who love me, and I'm grateful. But being able to heal myself in order to be a good mother to my sons, and then seeing them go forth into the world to be fathers themselves and husbands themselves, and seeing the darkest day, the day that I thought I was going to pull out all my hair and that I had ruined my life from having children. Looking back on it all and seeing how it all tied into me being this very wonderful teacher, if I just give myself credit, and it turned into them being these amazing young people who in their own way are very different from me. In a lot of significant ways, they're very different from me. And a lot of other significant ways, we're exactly the same. And we read each other like no other people on earth. So I want to give you this information to read when you get home, or you can be in touch with me, come to another workshop when I go into things more in depth. But my big gift to you this afternoon is to savor every moment, even the ones when they're ripping up the paper, with your little ones. The tissues, yay, yay! Savor every moment, that it does come and go so very, very quickly. Heal yourself, love yourself, and it's not self-indulgent for you as a parent to love and take care of yourself. Do the very best you can. You're only responsible for doing the best you can. No one's going to be perfect at this. But do the best you can to not despair, and to know, what I know is that all of the little ones coming right now have a mission to help heal this crazy world that we live in. And so there's nothing more important that we are doing than the raising of healthy, happy, conscious children. There's really nothing more important. So I wish you good community, and I wish you love and light and happiness in your parenting. And if there's any way that I can help that process, please let me know. My practice is open to supporting all parents regardless of income. So don't let that be a hindrance. If you want to be in touch with me, I'll give you my number. And you'll be hearing from other events, and please feel free to join me when I won't have more than 20 minutes to talk to you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your message.